Alrighty, it is that time of the day again. Reaction time to yet another day of the NBA playoffs. A day where there was two good games, I would say, and a less great game. To be completely honest, I don't know if I'm going to cover much of this OKC series. The Grizzlies just look bad, to be completely honest. Ja Morant, we know what's going on with Ja at the moment. His ankles are in absolute all sorts. I don't know how he's going to go for the rest of the series. Although he did play a good game today, his first quarter was terrible. I can say that much. His first quarter, he did not look like scoring the ball at all. But the rest of the game, he actually played sort of all right. So for Ja Morant to produce what he can on that sort of ankle, I think you have to take your hat off to him. Jaren Jackson did like enough today, but not to the point where he's your second All-Star. I think for me, Jaren Jackson, he's coming under quite a lot of fire at the moment, to be completely honest, because with everything going on with Ja's ankle and with everything, sort of Jaren Jackson's now getting that lens put on him, being an all-star, being a former defensive player of the year, being I'm not sure if he ever made All-NBA, but he sort of was that caliber player a couple of years ago. He's coming under a lot of scrutiny for his offensive output, his defensive output. Everybody is now expecting him to be some sort of Superman now that Ja is no longer playing. He's on a bum ankle. Desmond Bain, as soon as Desmond Bain has a bad shooting night, it immediately falls onto Jaren as well. Jaren played well today. I think Jaren, he did play a great game today. He shot the ball well. Defensive side of the ball, he's going to deter shots like he gets paid to do. And I think he played a good game. But in terms of the length and size of the OKC Thunder, you've got Chet Holmgren, who he's not like big by any means, but he's tall. Isaiah Hartenstein is an absolute mountain of a bloke. He's like a reincarnation of Steven Adams. And we all know what Steven Adams is like. They have a lot of size. And Jaren Jackson can only deal with so much of it, especially Zach Edey. Zach Edey only being a 7'1" dude and only having 7 rebounds in a game. It really doesn't help because, to be completely honest, Zach Edey is not in their offensive structure whatsoever, and defensively, he is there to deter shots and get rebounds. And when he's not getting rebounds, well, he's basically a non-factor on the court, and it's kind of hard to watch. I think he played 25 or so minutes today, and only produced 7 rebounds, which for a 7'1" guy in playoff time is not good enough, to be completely honest. Their highest rebounder today was Desmond Bain. Desmond Bain had 12 rebounds. We know how good Desmond Bain is as a player, but we also both know that Desmond Bain has T-Rex arms. He has a wingspan of shorter than Spud Webb. So for him to be grabbing 12 rebounds in a game is quite absurd, to be completely honest. The OKC Thunder are just too good. I don't know how much more of the series I'm going to cover. Going into the series, I would have said that the Grizzlies were good enough to take a game at home from the OKC Thunder, as in, the Grizzlies win a game at their home, games 3 and 4. But now I'm really not sure, because they just don't look like a team that's willing to challenge the best team in basketball. They just don't have any of their structures set up. Desmond Bain, as I said, had a bad shooting night. And as soon as Desmond Bain has a bad shooting night, the defensive structure collapses on Ja, which means he can't get the kickouts and his usual driving attempts that he usually gets. And it puts them all in a big, pile of mess, pretty much. It's hard to watch. The OKC Thunder, Shea had a better game offensively today. Shea was everywhere. He had assists, steals, rebounds, points, everything, shot efficiently from the field. It was a great game. The OKC Thunder, I think, take this series in 4 games now. I'm pretty convinced that I don't think the Grizzlies have what it takes to take one of these next 2 games. They're just not playing to the level that they should be playing at. And now that Ja Morant's on all sorts of drugs and all sorts of needles and stuff just for him to get out on the floor, because we all know how bad that ankle is, Ja Morant is their best player and their superstar. Jaren Jackson, as good as he is and as many accolades he's got over the last couple of years, I wouldn't call him a superstar, and Desmond Bane's the exact same. Hell of a jump shooter, shoots the ball with the best of them, but I wouldn't call him a superstar. And if your superstar is on needles and not being able to perform to his full strength, you're not going to beat, the 4 seed, let alone the best team in basketball. That's really all I have to say for that game. It was pretty convincing in the end. I think it was close to 20-point win. Better than 50, but just still a sizable margin. The other game, for some reason, they ran 2 games overlapping with one another, so it wasn't like the marathons that they've had the first 2 days where you could just watch every game back to back to back. The NBA TV game that they had was the Pacers and the Bucks, which, if you ask me, should have been the nationally televised game. It was the better game out of the 2. There's more, history and beef in the series. It's more competitive. The only thing I have to point out for this game is Damian Lillard didn't look comfortable. He got rushed back too early from all his injuries. They said on the broadcast, he was training for a while, and as soon as, he got back to basketball activities, they're like, yep, he'll be ready to go. Get him out on the floor. Wasn't the case. Damian Lillard, your all-star point guard, shooting 1 for 5 or 1 from 6 from 3 or whatever it was, is just not going to do it. Giannis did absolutely everything today. 36 points and he had 14 rebounds or so. Another great game out of him. Bobby Portis was in the high 20s for scoring, which Bobby Portis is his second highest scorer. It doesn't happen very often. And the fact that they haven't capitalised on a Bobby Portis game like that probably hurts them even more as a franchise. Who knows what happens now? The Pacers, credit to them. I said this after game 1 and I'm going to say it again after game 2. The Pacers are a team. I think the Pacers are the best spread team in the whole playoffs at the moment. They have guys 1 through 8 that can all come onto the court and give you a positive impact no matter what time or place that they're in. Andrew Nembhard hit the biggest shot of the game. I tip my hat to him. Also, I didn't realise the beef between Dame and Tyrese is actually like a real thing. I always knew it was kind of a thing where, Pacers and Bucks don't really like each other, the game ball incident with Giannis, whatever else. But Damian Lillard, genuinely, I don't think likes Tyrese Halliburton. And it was apparent in that fourth quarter scuffle that they had. And then immediately after that scuffle, with 50 seconds left in the game, Andrew Nembhard hits a step-back 3 in front of Giannis. Insane. Just incredible. The Pacers, I think they had 7 people in double figures today. Miles Turner continues to do great things on the defensive side of the ball. And offensive, we know how good of a floor spreader Miles Turner is, and he's going to continue to do that. Tyrese Halliburton, after, by the way, for some press release come out this morning saying NBA players voted, and Tyrese Halliburton is the most overrated player in basketball. Why we're doing this in this day and age, I have no idea. Why is this even a relevant thing that NBA players are voting on each other for the most irrelevant person in basketball? It's such a corny thing that really doesn't need to be in the game of basketball. I hope, it lights a fire under Tyrese Halliburton, and it looked like it did today. 12 assists, 21 points. Played a phenomenal game today. He's the floor general. We all know who Tyrese is for the Pacers, and he played a great game. I hope he continues it throughout the series, continues to prove people wrong, because, getting that sort of statistic on your resume is really not something that people want to take on board. As I said, I don't know why it's in the association to begin with, but it's just, I don't like it. Good on them. Pacers win the game. I heard a statistic somewhere that when Tyrese scores 20 plus, they've only lost 3 games all season. So if Tyrese can continue to score like that, they will win this series. Protecting home court, obviously, people always say it, the series doesn't start till the home team loses. So far, so good for the Pacers. For them to be able to protect home court is huge for them. But now it falls back on them to win a game in Milwaukee. That is the big assignment for them now. They win one game in Milwaukee, I think this series is over. It's just going to take one of those games, because if you go back and the Bucks win 2 straight, Giannis is good enough to win you one game away from home. So they don't want to be relying on that to go back to Cambridge Fieldhouse and win 2 more games, because you do not want to go 7 games with Giannis on the other side of the floor. But yeah, that's that game sorted. And the last game of the day, arguably the best. By the way, these scorelines at the moment, defense must be getting played, because the Warriors game the other day was 90-80. The Timberwolves-Lakers game today was 90-80. Like, the scores are just down at the moment. My main thing for this Lakers-Wolves game was the fouling and the foul calls, and the amount of contact in the game was just ridiculous. There was so many fouls called in this. I'm pretty sure there was like 39 foul calls going into three-quarter time. I'm all for physicality, don't get me wrong. Basketball is better when it's physical and there's a bit of, niggle between both sides. When there's 38 foul calls in 3/4 of basketball, it's just too much. Julius Randle, foul trouble. Dante DiVincenzo, foul trouble. Jaden McDaniels, foul trouble. All of these guys, all in foul trouble today. And it kind of just put a dampener on the game. It didn't get, the Timberwolves weren't able to produce what they probably wanted to produce today. Don't get me wrong, they made a run in the last quarter, and to be honest, I think the Timberwolves were probably a chance going into that last quarter. They just didn't have it in the end offensively. I think, the third quarter, they had the offense but not the defense, and then the last quarter, they had the defense but not the offense. It kind of, you have to have both going at once, which they did in game 1. They just couldn't do it today. Have to praise the Lakers. They come out with a much better game plan today. Luka did his thing. Luka was 1 assist shy of a triple-double, I'm pretty sure. LeBron James today was so much better. He had, I think, only 2 more points than he did in game 1. But he didn't let the game go to him this time. Like, in game 1, it looked like he was just giving Luka the ball, and if the game was going to come to LeBron, that he was actually going to do something about it. But he didn't do that today. That second quarter especially, he took the game into his own hands and was shooting the ball, getting into his mid-range, attacking the basket, doing LeBron James things that we're accustomed to, seeing and watching. He's 40 years old. I get that. He's not going to be as good as he was 10 years ago when he was in his prime in his 30s. But he's LeBron James, and he's done it to himself now to where we all expect him to perform as good, if not better than Luka most nights. It is sort of weird seeing LeBron play a second fiddle sort of role, because to be completely honest, it's the first time his whole career that we've seen this happen, where he is not actually the best player on his team and on the floor. So for him to, mold into this sort of lineup is a huge difference for him, and I think he's still sort of getting used to it. He needs to get his own buckets, because LeBron James is better when he's scoring the ball and doing LeBron James things. It's better for the viewers. It's better for everyone. Yeah. Hell of a game out of LeBron today, attacking the game to where he should be. Minnesota just weren't as good on the offensive side of the ball as they were 2 nights ago. And that was basically the thing that killed him. Naz Reid couldn't shoot as well as he was. Got nothing out of Mike Conley today. By the way, Rudy Gobert was like Zach Edey today. He could not get a rebound to save himself. The amount of fumbled rebounds that I saw from Rudy Gobert today was absurd. Just didn't have it offensively, and it sort of ruined them in the end. Julius Randle played a hell of a game. Got to take my hat off to him. He was the only reason they were sort of in this game to begin with. But yeah, that's about it. That's the recap that I've got for today. 3 big wins. 2 series that go to 2-0, and 1 series that splits even at 1-1. Warriors game's on tomorrow, and so is the Boston game. one really good game. I think I know what game everyone's going to be tuning into. It all just depends tomorrow for Boston on the health of Jason Tatum, because they have him day by day at the moment, so we don't know what his health is actually going to be like tomorrow, whether he actually suits up. To be completely honest, like, Jason Tatum is a superstar, and we know how good Jason Tatum is, but I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make at the TD Garden. I think Jaylen Brown will probably will the Celtics to a win regardless. But who knows? We will see what happens with him. We'll get the update, and yeah, we will talk about another 2 games tomorrow. That's everything I've got for you guys today. The love on the videos has been incredible recently, especially a couple of people getting comments down. I will respond to all comments. I'm happy to talk to you guys. It's really good to actually interact with some of you guys, which is great. All the liking and subscribing stuff as well. That's a huge help to me, and it keeps me motivated to do this. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow for 2 more games. I appreciate everything from you guys. The basketball's been great so far. Only a couple of series that have been kind of dull, but it's the first round. It's going to happen. Yeah, that's everything I've got for you guys. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, and yeah, I will see you guys then. Thank you, guys.